Well, hello, hello, hello. I thought I might just pop in and let you know it's time for another episode of Make Art with Mrs. M. Today, I want to talk to you about pop art. And I'm just not talking about art that has the word pop with popcorn. I'm talking about pop art. Pop art that was made by artists using mostly bold black lines, the primary colors, and in the case of Roy Lichtenstein, he liked to use onomatopoeia words in his paintings. I did this design just with markers and crayons. You are welcome to use paint if you have some on your own. But I wanted to start today by just showing you how to make these cool designs with these onomatopoeia words. Onomato, what a, you said that a couple of times. What is onomatopoeia? I'm glad you asked. Well, onomatopoeia is when a word describes a sound and mimics the sound when it is spoken, like ribbit. Pop is also an onomatopoeia word. Sometimes onomatopoeia words are animal sounds. Sometimes they are other kind of words. So I've compiled a list. A big list of my onomatopoeia words on the tops of my list. Let's see. Zip, boom, smash, pow, swish, drip, bop, zap, zam, crash, pop, splash, woof, thud, ding dong, chomp, oink, tick tock, crack, meow, splat, poof, wham, bang, zing. Onomatopoeia words mimic the sounds. I've been taking my time to draw out some different designs, like this one, zap. Whenever I think of zap, it just reminds me of something electric. So I used this sharp line around, this jagged line, and added some things that look like stars and lightning bolts flying away from the word zap. Then there's splat. That reminds me of maybe a big blob of paint has gotten away from somebody and has dropped splat flat on the floor. And boom. This reminds me of that song that I hear the Black Eyed Peas sing. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I'm not a singer. But this boom has lots of dots around here. You see some of them are darker red and some of them are lighter because I haven't finished. I'm using a technique that I learned from my mama. She was a teacher. She's retired now. But when she was a teacher, she was making something and I saw her turn the crayon around and use the flat end. And I just sat there and watched. And she was making perfect little polka dots with the bottom of her crayon just by taking it and twisting it a little bit. A lot of pop art was derived from cartoons. And those cartoons were printed in the newspaper. And this technique of having all these dots was part of the printing process for making comics. So I am going to add a few more Bendy Dots. That's what they're called, this design, this pattern that is used quite often with pop artists. Then I just go back and color in. And by making the little print off the bottom of my crayon, just helps me have polka dots, Bendy Dots, that are more uniform. They're more just all the same size. Yes. So I just randomly placed them in my background here, but most times Bendy Dots are in neat rows. They are very, very structured. I'm not so much, not so very structured. Okay, so how do we make these big fat letters and add all these designs around? I'm glad you asked. Well, let's grab a piece of paper and I can show you some things. Well, first I'm going to use a pencil to write my word. I'm going to write this word lightly. Let me see my list. I want to choose a word that I haven't drawn a picture of yet. So let's see. I think I'm going to do wham. I haven't done wham yet. So wham, I'm going to write my letters nice and big. I am going to space them out. All right. Now after I draw my letters and space them out, I'm then going to trace around it. So very lightly I've drawn wham on my paper with a pencil. I'm going to use a scratch piece of paper underneath here so my marker doesn't bleed through. Then what you do is you take your marker or whatever you are drawing with and go around that pencil line that you just made. And what I try to do is I try to keep the line that I'm drawing an equal distance away from the pencil line that was there, so that some letters don't end up being really fat and some end up being really thin. Don't forget, if you have a letter that has a middle, to go around in that middle space too. Okay, I don't think I made this M big enough to trace around. Thank goodness I wrote in pencil first. I can make changes. All right, I needed to make that a little bit bigger. All right, now I can continue. There, I can go up and around about the same distance up away every time. Wham. And because I made my line so lightly, it's very easy to just go back and erase. And sometimes you can erase so good and no one will ever know you used this nifty trick for making your lettering bigger and thicker. There. Okay, so wham. Wham has sort of a sharp sound. I'm going to use lines around it that have little points on them. Wham. And I think I'm going to add more sharp points with another kind of line going around it. Some of these are sort of going off the page. It's okay. Wham. It makes me think of somebody hitting something like a baseball smacking a home run. Wham. Okay. See some more pencil marks, and I'm just making that just a little bit nicer. And there you go. Now, the colors you choose are totally up to you. I am partial to the primary colors, but whatever onomatopoeia word you choose and whatever colors you choose, make it great. Make it awesome. Make it yours. So, onomatopoeia, remember, is when a word describes a sound and mimics the sound when it's spoken. Like splat and zap and pow. Oh, and let's not forget boom. I hope you know that art makes you smart. Yes, it does. I hope you had fun with me today, and I hope you come back again someday. We'll make more art together, and you'll learn more cool things.